I want to congratulate you on the 2 articles that you got published on CNS News.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to ask you a few questions about both of them.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I plead the fifth?
Yes, you can plead the fifth. Right. Now, the first one had to do with religious freedom. And as you well know, because I do Freedom Matters with Mark McIntyre, this is a very important topic to me, okay?
Right.
So, I understand that there was a certain congressperson from the state of Rhode Island near Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And his name is Cicilline or Cicilline.
Yeah. David Cicilline, yeah.
David Cicilline, okay, with an E in the end. Yeah, and he proposed that the quote that you wrote about in your article for CNS News, the quote that just galvanized me was this quote: "We have to prevent religious freedom from interfering and causing discrimination against LGBTQ, RST, LMNOP, QRXT, WYZ plus minus. Did I get that right?
Just a little bit of paraphrase. You misunderstand. It's actually lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, questioning, pansexual, polysexual, antisexual, asexual, and demisexual. So you are just a little bit off.
You do that
just a little bit off. I do it better than anyone else in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, questioning, polysexual, pansexual, antisexual, asexual.
Back to your article, please. Back to your article. What is the exact quote? Do you recall it?
You effectively, you very well paraphrased it. I might like to point out, in its essence, that's effectively what it says. That I predict a series of more acts to come, of sort of Obama era policies or policies that someone like Obama would seek to advance.
Now, this is a bill called the Equity Bill or the Equality Bill.
The Equality
Act, which is aptly named because it is acting. It's acting, so it is an act. Yeah,
correct.
Okay. Now, is this part of the avalanche of socialist, Marxist, communist legislation that
it's not.
The loony left is dumping into Congress?
This is not a loony left sort of thing. This is establishment legislation, establishment Democrat legislation.
Oh, really?
Very big difference. This is not Green New Deal.
I stand corrected. So yes. AOC is not behind this one.
Well, I mean, she will vote for it. She will support. She will retweet it. She'll fall in party line. And this is what the big boy Democrats, the establishment Democrats, are pushing for. Mm-hmm. It's legislation they believe middle of the road Americans can get behind. And I do think that most Americans would probably get behind the idea. You can't fire somebody for saying that they are a homosexual. You can't cancel a lease and kick somebody out of an apartment because they're a homosexual. And then the last press conference I did with the Democrats, the Net Neutrality Act, they cited a bunch of polls that said Americans want net neutrality, yada, 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 yada. Right. And what my prediction is that the Democrats are going to release a couple more of these bills, and they're going to probably pass the House, and they're going to get defeated in either the Senate or get vetoed by Trump. And what they'll use this as ammunition against Republicans in the Senate, against Trump for 2020. Because, they have this legislation that was removed by either the Trump administration or rolled back, or in the case of the Equality Act, there's already protections for people in the LGBT in a lot of states.
Yeah, but they've been working on this particular bill from the Obama administration.
Right.
It goes way back to there, right? 2015.
Yeah.
So why are they pushing this now? What's the deal? Why are they doing this now?
So that when it fails in the Senate or gets vetoed by Trump, they have something to shoot back with in 2020. It's a very clever. It's probably their best move, in my opinion, because they really need to. Trump is being so successful because he's fulfilling campaign promises
Right.
They need to vilify him somehow. They need to demonstrate, look, he vetoed the X Act, or look at Senator so-and-so. He voted against this act. That's really what this is for. It's there so it fails, so that come 2020 they can attack them for not letting it pass.
Yeah, but I did read your article, and I did read the.
Oh, by the way, I do want to also mention that this article I did not write by myself. Credit where credit's due.
Dimitri, you and Dimitri work.
Yes.
You'll work well together with Dimitri.
Dimitri is an incredible. He's an older
Russian spy. Is he a Russian spy?
Yes. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is absolutely, and I love him for. He's my favorite Russian spy ever. Good. I hope I maintain a relationship, professional relationship, and a friendship with him.
Well, hats off to Dimitri, and I hope you do more work with him. But I want to return to the act itself. And the act itself, there's a real, there's an eye-opening flaw, and the eye-opening flaw in the legislation as written is that it uses the word gender identity. Okay. Gender identity. So what this means is that if I identify as Napoleon, for instance, and if I identify as a hermaphroditic Napoleon, okay? So that means if I apply for a job at Nordstrom, well, I'd probably be hired at Nordstrom if I was a hermaphroditic. I would probably get hired. Napoleon. They put me in women's suits. That's what they would do. Yeah. But there's a big flaw in me, and I think most Americans are going to be seeing this, and I'd like to get your opinion. I mean, this whole notion, in order for me to give you equal rights, I don't have to like you, okay? I don't have to like you to give you your rights. We have to give everybody equal rights under the law, especially in public accommodations and employment. Yes, absolutely. But I don't have to like you. And this whole legislation seems to be aimed at these poor individuals. They're not liked. Oh, we have to do something about the fact that they're not liked.
Well,
you can't legislate me to like you.
Well, at least when I wrote about this, I don't recall that the act had formally been written up. I don't remember if it has, and I certainly haven't read it if it has. Okay. At least between the time when I wrote the article and now. I don't know if David Cicilline, Representative Congressman Cicilline of Rhode Island, has actually created this legislation, but you'd have to go over it to see really what it actually says.
What's going to be interesting to see is if he gets any Republican co-sponsors. As you well know, as our viewers know, legislation cannot get to committee unless it is co-sponsored. Okay, that's one of the rules of the House. Mm-hmm. And if only moderate Democrat liberals support this legislation and co-sponsor, it's not even going to get out of committee.
No, I mean, at the press conference, Ilhan Omar, Recep Tayyip, who are just as radical as AOC, they were actually at the press conference. And again, I want to restate, I do think that the radical AOCs will also agree with this. They like this stuff, not just because they're giant establishment Democrat overlords tell them to like it.
Even though Muslims throw homosexuals and transgenders people off the roof.
Even though they do that in certain countries.
They literally throw them off roofs. And now you're telling me these two asshole Congress people are going to support this legislation only because it's what? Why are they supporting?
Look, it's very odd for people in Congress to show up to the press conference announcing how wonderful this bill is unless they support it. So, I'm just guessing. I didn't get to ask them, but the fact that they were there and they were smiling and clapping kind of indicates that they're for legislation.
Okay, so all of you geniuses in the press, didn't you bother to ask them, why do you approve of throwing homosexuals off of a roof and yet supporting this nonsense? Did anybody ask this question or what? What's going on?
That'd be a pretty interesting thing to ask. Well, I mean, they both have said in speeches how much they love the LGBT and blah blah blah, and they embrace everyone.
Embrace everyone.
I really don't know how they read the Quran and don't recognize that it's so. I mean, you really have to be a postmodernist Muslim to just kind of make these jumps and go with the whole, oh, well, the Quran is just an evolving. I don't really know what their philosophical thoughts are on their theology.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, they're Muslims. I mean, I agree with them.
Right.
I disagree with them already,
Right. Well, I certainly disagree with throwing homosexuals off of roofs. I certainly disagree with that part.
As do I.
There are a lot of other things that I disagree with them on. But anyway, so what's your guesstimate? Is this going to get out of committee? I mean, a lot of people did read your article, and a lot of people. I was not aware of it, however, unless I know you and I read your stuff. So I hope it gets more traction.
Well, as a rising star, no, I shouldn't paint myself too much. I'll just give my last point on it. Effectively, what this legislation is this is a banner cry. Either if by some miracle it does pass for whatever reason, then the Dems finally have a success they can toot, which will help in 2020.
Well, it won't get past the Senate, and it certainly won't get past President Trump. No.
And if it doesn't, it also helps them because then they actually have something to attack him for, because they were supposed to attack him for not building the wall. Well,
they don't need anything to attack him for. They just attack. They don't need any reasons.
You're thinking with the AOC mindset. Pelosi has been in the game long enough to know if you want to really win substantial, like keep control of the House and gain control of this, gain more seats in the Senate.
Yeah,
you need some substance because the whole United States is not all in New York and San Francisco.
Right.
You need something for the Florida, for the the suburban areas all across the country. You need something to hit hard back with. Mm-hmm. And to the Democrats, the failure or passage of this act, and as the previously reported on Net Neutrality Act, that is their cannon fodder for the war of 2020.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, you also went to Nancy Pelosi's office to take part in a demonstration. We should do a special podcast on that. That was your second article?
Yes.
Right? All right.
To be continued, then.
Well, to be continued, Alex. You're doing a great job. You're in your own apartment.
Please give the credit. If not half, give him more than half. Dimitri was a wonderful person to work with. Yeah. All that happened. I got to sit closer up than Dimitri was. The poor guy was stuffed way in the back, and neither of us got to ask a question. But he wrote the first draft. Really props to him. He did a great job. I'm so happy to have his guidance. So please go retweet him, follow him on all that stuff, and don't forget to subscribe to us while you're at it.
Yes, of course. Anyway, we're going to move on. We got a busy schedule. We're going to do 3 or 4 more podcasts here today. So happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody, and we'll see you later, Alex.
Toodles.